Alright everyone, how you guys doing? Welcome to Apple Weekly number 72, the show where I cover everything Apple. Try to mainly keep it Mac, but what can I say, iOS is slowly taking over. This is being broadcasted on YouTube at the moment. iTunes is offline, trying to figure out how to get it back up since iWeb is no longer active, but hopefully some good news coming soon. Before getting into the stories, I do have to plug this out because this is something that you cannot miss out on. £300 worth of iGear goodies is going to be given away to one student. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. The biggest giveaway to date, and the whole concept is each time we launch a new product over the next 12 months, we'll be sending one of these to our selected winner, so make sure you enter. Giveaway closes on the 20th. Full details, and by full details I really mean two simple steps. Less than 30 seconds and you're entered. Links are on the screen, or if you want to watch the video because you hate reading like I do, there is a video as well. So going straight into the first story, it's to do with the iPhone 5, and you'll be glad to know it's not to do with mock-ups, even although there have been mock-ups since the last Apple Weekly, which I'm just going to totally ignore. But this is to do with the actual earphones that come with the iPhone. For the most, it's stayed exactly the same since 2007, same style, the earphone plus mic, and I'm a huge fan of them. Some people don't like them, but I'm a huge fan of them. They're, you know, simple, nice to the ears. The microphone works great. The audio quality is actually pretty good. But they've also introduced an in-ear styled headphone. I think it was maybe about a year or two ago, which I'm not a fan of. I'm generally not a fan of in-ear headphones because they just don't fit my ear. And generally the 1500 different type of ear fittings or cups that you get with the earphones, they just don't work. But really, getting back to the main story, these are the new earphones that are going to come reportedly with the next iPhone 5, and man oh man, do they look gorgeous or what. There's a full YouTube video kind of going over a product tour. Now the blog who's posted this picture and video have been reliable in the past, so there's nothing to say this is fake or whatever, and why would they do such a thing so close up to an iPhone launch in any case. But it's got all the designed by Apple and so on the earphones, and it's one unibodied feel to it, and by that I mean it's just one piece, it's made out of one piece, whereas the current earphones are kind of two separate things, and if you've managed to crack them somehow in the past, you'll be glad to know you won't be doing that anymore because it's just one meaty piece. Now moving on, but still staying in tune with the iPhone 5 stuff, it's going to be a shame for third-party manufacturers because they of course do not have any intel on what Apple is doing with the next generation iPhone. Especially, you know, where things are going to be placed. You know, the reported, widely rumoured iPhone dock connectors are going to be changed and it's going to be small. And this is crucial information that, from a design point of view, a third-party manufacturer needs to know. And the iPhone being released this month, it doesn't really give much time for companies to start building their products and in time for the Christmas, the holiday season. If you think about it, if the iPhone gets released this month, which is what the widely reported rumour is, you know, the design team for any given company needs to spend at least 1 week to see what the licensing agreements are with the dock connectors, what the sizing is, where everything is going to be placed, how a product or a case is going to look like. That is then going to be sent off to a factory and most likely probably the Far East somewhere. It's going to be built there, prototypes are going to come back and forth. And that is generally a 3 to 4 week period or longer, depending on how big of a company you are and how quickly you get things done. But that is a 3 to 4 week period in general. And then once you've got the final prototype that you like, all the changes are done or are approved is what you call it, then they go into production, which again takes 4 to 6 weeks. And then comes the shipping, where you want to get it shipped by sea because it's far cheaper. The downside to that is it takes 4 to 5 weeks to get over to the West, but if you air it, it's double the cost, and you know, so there's a lot of things. It's a timely kind of procedure, and because we're fast approaching, shall I say, the holiday season, most companies aren't going to get their accessories in on time. So that really means once you get your iPhone 5, you've got no choice other than to buy Apple's own iPhone 5 accessories, which I'm sure there's going to be quite a few, and Apple just want to make that extra little bit of dosh. So third-party manufacturers are unhappy, as you could imagine. It's a big industry, billion-dollar industry, these iPhone cases and accessories, and for them to miss out on this crucial time of the year, which most probably, you know, companies do, any given company, whether it be iPhones or clothes or whatever, they tend to make the money in the holiday season, and for them to miss out on this crucial point is going to be a hit in the turnover, sales, revenue, profits, whatever you want to call it. And moving on to the third story, and kind of being related, in a sense that this is what happens when you don't tell third-party developers the heads up. You don't give them a heads up. Retina applications, there's still a wide, well-known applications that are just not Retina enabled, and it's a shame because you're using a MacBook Pro. It's everything. When you're using Safari, the crisp, you know, the clear text, and it's just brilliant. But when you're using applications like Twitter and some other known apps, it's just blurry. It doesn't look nice, and it just ruins the experience. And I guess to that part it's kind of a failure. And Adobe has recently announced that they are going to be introducing Photoshop, Lightroom, and all the kind of Adobe suite in the next few weeks, months, or this fall as they name it. So if you have a Retina MacBook Pro, or are probably getting the 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro, you really aren't missing out on much. The party still hasn't started, because applications every day or every week, applications are being rolled out for the Retina support. Had these developers have known that this was going to happen, then they could have made the preparations earlier on, and once the Retina MacBook Pro launched 2 months ago, we would have, you know, had the full kind of experience, but it's not happened. And next up, shortages of 27-inch iMacs is now not only affecting third-party resellers, as I reported last week, but now it's affecting Apple's own retail stores. Mac Rumors kind of conducted a research where they kind of went over 249 US-based retail stores of Apple, and they found that 27-inch iMacs were generally out of stock and not coming in for the first 2 weeks of September. Some were quoting around the 4th to the 7th of September. The 21.5 inches were generally healthy in supply, in a sense that they were available. But overall, and adding to some more resellers coming forward in the past few days, iMacs are on the short, and that in general for us is good news because a refresh is here. And adding to this is an analyst who came out and done a full report on the upcoming Apple products, and this analyst has got a good kind of record, in a sense that he widely said Retina MacBook Pros, the 15-inch was being released, the white MacBooks will see an axe, the 17-inch MacBooks will go away, which is all that's happened. So this analyst has came out and he's given us this chart, and what he's basically trying to say is this is not good for Apple because there's too many products being released over a 2-month period, and it's just not generally good for a shopping experience, a marketing perspective, and you can kind of agree with what the guy is saying. So just looking at this chart, a 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro should be with us pretty soon. September is already here, same with the iMac 21.5 inch. Now it doesn't kind of make sense to have a 21.5 inch iMac being released in September, and then as you can see the 27-inch iMac at the end of October. One of the reasons why the iMacs have been delayed, according to this analyst, is because of the displays themselves. So maybe they just can't make larger screens on time, or the factories, or whatever the case may be. And then you've got the iPhone 5 and the iPod Touch being released mid-September, and then the new iPad, the mini iPad, come in October, and then a new iPod Nano. This is what I said last week as well in Apple Weekly 71. Apple is going to have a meaty 2 months ahead, a lot of product launches. Surprisingly, there's no Mac Mini. Now if a Mac Mini is not released in the next 2 months, it's just safe to say it's not going to be released this year. So whether Apple continues with it next year, or decide to axe it slowly like it is with the Mac Pro, will be a shame. But going back onto the main story, this analyst has said Apple is not going to be using Retina displays, as is the case with 15-inch MacBook Pros, and there's been a lot of hoo-ha in the press and generally the Mac websites that it's not physically possible because of the size of the screen. Yeah, fair enough, But this analyst does also say that Apple is improving the way they glue the screens on or laminate the screens onto the screen, onto the display panels, which will in essence improve the display quality. That said, I've recently seen images from IFA in Berlin where Sony have released a mammoth 84-inch display with a 4K resolution. So, you know, could Apple do something similar to that effect? I guess probably only on the Apple TV coming next year and not on the Macs. And lastly, this analyst has said that the upcoming iMac refresh is going to be a major redesign, even although there is no Retina display on it. So could they do something to an effect of a thunderbolt display-ish iMac? I will be doing a separate video on my wish list on an iMac 2013, so stay tuned for that in the next few days. But ladies and gents, that is it for this week in Apple. I hope you liked it. Feel free to like and subscribe. Don't be shy. Favourite the video if you thought it kind of deserved it, or maybe not. You can join me on iglaswegian.com, twitter.com/i6glasswegian, facebook.com/iglaswegian. Too many bloody social networks. I know. And do remember to get in on the giveaway. It's literally going to take you a few seconds and you might just get lucky. See you in the next video. Cheers! There's a pocket for pretty much anything. Google Nexus 7? Check. Apple iPad? Check. Amazon Kindle Reader? Check. Let me ask you this question. Can you carry all this plus more? Only in an iGear garment. Are you annoyed with getting your earphones tangled? Well, now there's no excuse. Buy today at igear.com, shipping worldwide. We've been featured on the British Forces News, the Herald, the Journal, the Gadget Show Live, and the list continues.